Welcome to the Fife property market for week commencing the 8th to the 14th of February. We are well on our way into February and we're going to look at the numbers for what was taking place last week with all agencies that advertise on Rightmove. We'll then do a run through on what we were doing in particular as an agency, and we had some fantastic activity last week, some great deals over the line, and then we'll do a run through of the shows that have taken place, just so you know what to go back and rewatch. But this is, as always, a weekly update which gives you all of the information, insights, facts, and figures into what is really taking place in the Fife market. As always, if you have any questions, any comments, feel free to put them, and we absolutely will come back to you. But we will start with last week's figures. So they should come up on the screen for you. Now, we always do say 1 week doesn't make a trend. And if you are regular to this show, then perhaps you'll know that last week there was a slight change in numbers. However, that was just 1 week. And this week we were back to seeing what we have been seeing for a good couple of months. And it's that there is more buyers on the market than what properties are coming available. So straight off the bat, you can see 106 new properties were made available on Rightmove with all agencies that advertise. Then there was 137 properties showing as sold subject to concluded missives. So 106 versus 137. So when you've got friends, family, or people, or you're thinking now is not the time to sell, it's quieter, people aren't buying until spring, summer, absolutely not. Apart from 1 week, last week's figures that we showed, out with that, for the last couple of months, probably since the beginning of November, there has been more buyers in the marketplace than stock that's coming to market. Now, you're perhaps wondering, well, how is that the case? How can more properties be selling what's coming to market? It doesn't mean to say of those 106, it's those 106 that have sold and had offers accepted. It's properties that have previously been listed the week before, the month before. So it just means we're actually clearing through backlog and buyers are looking at the wider picture and they're not just waiting for the new stock. We're getting deals over the line on stock that's perhaps been sitting. And we certainly saw that, and you'll see that when we come to what we have sold. We've had some great deals over the line of properties that have been sitting slightly on the market. So it's great to see that they are over the line. And something we always say as well is don't always think about how long you have been on the market. All it takes is that one buyer, and there is new buyers entering the marketplace every single day. It's more of a case of how long has your buyer been on the market. You need that one buyer to see that property and it ticks their boxes, and that's why we've had some fantastic results, and that's why there's 137 properties now sitting as under offer, which is a fantastic number to see. Obviously, you can see it broken down into different micro regions. Ones that jump out to me in particular, it's great that the KY 1415 postcode has had 9 offers accepted. 4 is slightly lower than new to market, however 9 properties sold, which is great to see. Evens for East Neuk, 3 versus 3. Biggest one, and what I am delighted to see, is St Andrews. Yes, there was only 2 properties made available, but actually that does not concern me. What I'm delighted with is 9 properties are showing as under offer, especially for the St Andrews market, where average selling time is anything from 5 to 6 months, purely because of how much stock is sitting on the marketplace. It was good that there was only 2 made available, but 9 properties are sold as sold. So that means there is literally been a backlog of stock that got worked through. So 9 properties in 1 week is amazing to see. And hopefully we continue to see that and we really do work through the backlog in the KY16 postcode. Now, if you are selling within St Andrews or you're thinking of selling within St Andrews, please reach out. More than happy to discuss in more detail that marketplace and what you need to do to get yourself sold and be like those 9. Leavenmouth, 6 versus 14. So another strong week for the KY8 area. No surprise, it's continuing to obviously hold its own, perform strong, and it's purely down to the continued investment that's getting put into the area, especially if you are local and you're new to the area. Perhaps if you do live within the KY8 area and Leavenmouth, or even if you commute through it, you will know that obviously just now there is the investment and there is the change that's taking place with the bus station. Yes, there is obviously upheaval with the kind of temporary location. However, it's a continued investment, which is absolutely great to see, and it will continue to help that KY8 marketplace. Dunfermline, high transaction numbers. As always, no surprise. What is surprising though is Glenrothes to only have 4 new properties made available. That is a lot lighter week. Glenrothes is always into the double digits, but as we say, 1 week does not make a trend. Still 15 properties sold though, which is a good number. And then Kirkcaldy, 25 versus 33. Always out of all of the transactional areas, Kirkcaldy is always the second highest, purely just down to availability of stock, price points, locations, amenities, commuting links, everything that's available for it. That's why Kirkcaldy is the second kind of highest transaction number. So that accounts to your 106 and your 137. And as I say, it is great to see that, yes, it is another week holding strong, that there is more buyers out there than properties coming to market, especially for this time of year when people think that now is not the time to sell. Now, let's take a look at what we were doing in particular as an agency. So this is properties that we have accepted offers on and are now showing as sold subject to concluded missives. And this is where it is fantastic to see that there is some stock that's perhaps been sitting that is now over the line. So first one, you did get a little bit of a sneak peek just there, but let's bring it back to the screen for you. So the first property is March Crescent in Anstruther. So it's the one just in the middle here with the fence around. So this is a 3-bedroom mid-terrace property. What's great is this window here is actually an additional home office, or perhaps could be like a little snug area. Also, and something that is being discussed with the potential, the new buyers, is actually knocking through the wall between the kitchen and this home office to create an open plan space. You could absolutely do that, but that third kind of that home office is not added into your 3 bedrooms, so you do still have 3 bedrooms on top of that. So it is a good footprint of property. You've got garden to the front, which again is in discussion about dropping the curb and actually creating off-street parking, creating a driveway like some of the neighbouring properties. And then there is a garden to the rear as well. Now, this was on the market for offers over 195,000. Sellers are delighted. It means they can move on with their journey. Likewise, the buyers are delighted that they've secured a home. They're staying with the Snook. They're just upsizing. And it's clients that are well known to us, and we manage them through that whole journey, which is great to be on that journey with them. Next one is another one in Seggy Drive, would you believe? So this is our third sale within Seggy Drive in the last 2-3 months, I would say. We've had a fantastic result in that development. Now, this particular one was a 2-bedroom mid-terrace property. So it's this one just here. You've got 2 parking spaces. It is, as I say, a 2-bedroom. You have a garden to the rear as well. Fantastic standard, really high quality, moving condition. Now, this one was on the market for offers over 195,000. The buyers are delighted to be moving into the area. Likewise, the sellers are delighted because they're upsizing and staying within the development because they love it so much. But that is our third successful result in that development that we have had in the last couple of months, and sold in 2 weeks, which is even better for the sellers. So we're delighted with that result. And if you are looking to be in that development, I have actually done a pre-portal just on Friday for another one that we're bringing on. That particular one is a 4-bedroom detached. So if you are looking for a family home within the KY16 postcode, go and have a wee look at that pre-portal on the St Andrews page. But that is a fantastic result to have that one over the line. Another one that is, again, a great result and a quick turnaround for the seller, as you can see, sold in 3 weeks in Buckhaven, Den Walk. We've had some great results within the Den Walk, Buckhaven, even Den Walk Methil. But this particular one sold in 3 weeks, which is amazing. It was on for offers over 89,000. It was a 2-bedroom ground floor apartment, finished to a really high standard, moving condition, front and rear gardens, so great plot size externally and internally, and it's walking distance to all of your amenities within Buckhaven. So the buyer is delighted to be moving into their first home. They're a first-time buyer, so they're getting themselves on the ladder. Likewise, the seller is delighted. So that is another one sold in 3 weeks, but there were buyers that missed out. These style of properties, price point of properties, location of properties are always popular. You get fantastic results. So if you do have something similar to this, please do reach out. We can get Perry out to you. She can discuss your value, what marketing is required to get the same results, and then guide you through that journey. But another great result. Another one is in Kenaway, Cooper Road. This straight away, as you can see, is a beautiful home full of character and charm. It was a 3-bedroom, 3-reception, 2-bathroom, B listed detached property. It was actually a former man's house. And what's amazing is it still has some of its kind of ornate features, which are just beautiful. And you can see the grounds that it is on. It is just stunning. There is off-street parking. There is a double garage. But just look at that. Imagine that in the summer months, pottering around in your garden. You can see there's little lounges that are perfectly positioned for being in the sun. You can see a little summer house just here. It's just a fantastic property and a great location as well, because obviously you're in Kennyway, so you still have your amenities. You've got Cameron Bridge for a train station. But what a fantastic family home. And this one was a fixed price of $410,000. Now, with all these that I'm running through, I can't disclose the offers that were accepted on them because they do need to go through that conveyancing stage. So you just need to keep a lookout, watch the shows, and then you'll know when they've exchanged and what they've gone for. And then finally, we had Roger Street in Cellardyke. So this particular one, and it's the one with the blue door just here, over the 3 levels. It's a townhouse. It's a 5-bedroom, 3-reception extended townhouse. Now, with Roger Street, you'll be amazed. Yes, it's that one street, but every single property is different. Some are apartments, some aren't over the 3 levels, some are 3 levels. Each one are so different. Some have got net lofts, some have extended, some haven't extended. But this one was a beautiful home. It was like a show home. It was just immaculate. The interiors were stunning. So I really hope the new buyer moving in there just leaves it as it is, because it was done beautifully. They may wish to put their own stamp on it, obviously, but it was just stunning. What was great as well is the garden space to the rear had been landscaped. They'd created it perfect for dining. They'd done a purpose-built barbecue area. Internally and externally, it is a home that ticks all the boxes. And it was on the market for offers over $485,000. So that is what we have sold. So that is now what is under offer. Now we can discuss what's coming soon. So this is properties that Perry and I have been out to, we've valued, and are coming to market with ourselves. So this is kind of your heads up before it goes to pre-portal stage. Now, those that aren't aware, pre-portal, it is a preview. So it's a full video walkthrough of the property before it goes on the Rightmove, the Zoopla, and the S1 Homes. So it allows you to potentially get in there before anybody else if it's a property that ticks all the boxes for you, and you can make our seller an offer that they just cannot refuse before it goes to those wider portals. So what you're looking for is to be following the pages where you're looking to purchase a property. You're then looking for the words pre-portal and see that agent's face. And then if it is something that ticks the boxes, reach out and we could potentially get you a viewing and secure that property before it does get seen by the wider audience. Now, if you want to discuss that in a bit more detail and get a bit more clarity, again, reach out to the team. We're more than happy to discuss that with you and guide you through the process so that you don't miss out on your next home. So the first coming soon is Langside Drive in Kennyway. It's a 3-bedroom semi-detached house. So great family home. And again, it's that Kennyway location that I was just discussing, that you have your amenities, you have schooling, you have the Cameron Bridge for the train station. Another one is Kilnhew in Auchtermuchty. It is a 3-bedroom ground floor flat. It is a really spacious property. You walk in and you've got a great size kitchen. You then have plenty of storage with this property as well. You have 3 bedrooms, you have a shower room, and you have a great size living room. And it is a fantastic location in Muchty. You've got all of your amenities, schooling, also perfect for commuting if you need to get to the M90. Likewise, if you want to get to Dundee, you can just head along to the A92. Fantastic one. And it's going to be a really affordable price point as well. So if you're a first-time buyer, investor, landlord, but it is still a really spacious property for that price point. So keep a lookout. I am there on Thursday doing the pre-portal for that one, so you don't have to wait long to see that one. So that is our coming soons. Next, we will do what has concluded, so you know what offer has been accepted. Now, we just have the one this week, and it is in Kirkcaldy, and it's Sir Thomas Elder Way. This was a really popular property. I was there doing back-to-back viewings, and we got 4 offers on it, I believe, off the top of my head. 4 offers, negotiating between, really popular one. Seller was delighted because they had already secured the next home, so it allowed them to move on to their journey, and it was a quick result. And the buyer was absolutely delighted. It's a family moving in. They've got family within the area, so it really did work for them. It ticked all the boxes, and it was just a great one to get over the line because both sides were so happy, and it really was a fantastic result. It was a 4-bedroom, 2-reception detached property, moving condition, really spacious, great garden and positioning with this property, garage, driveway. It really was a home that ticked all the boxes, and it sold for 265,000. And as I say, both sides are absolutely delighted. So that is what we were doing in particular as an agency. Let's do a run through of the shows that have taken place, just so you know what to go back and rewatch and take some great information from. So the first one is the Wealth Creation Show. Every Monday, without a fail, you have Richard Cook, the Lettings Director, and Jim Parker, one of the UK's most successful property investors, on hand. And with this particular one, they were discussing raising the bar, and how raising the bar is about how to challenge the way you think about money, success, and financial growth. There are not quick wins or overnight niches. It's about the mindset, strategy, and disciplined execution, and how to think bigger, act smarter, and take greater ownership of your financial future through practical insights, real-world strategies, and powerful mindset shifts. And they are thinking about, or getting you to think about, seeking inspiration to move beyond comfort, embrace calculated risks, and build sustainable wealth. It's a topic we're on hand discussing. It was live yesterday, however, you can still go back and watch it. If there is any questions, or if you do have any of your own thoughts to share, please do comment and they will absolutely come back to you. Another one that was done, again, it was with Richard Cook, the Lettings Director, joined by Karen Marshall, the letting agent, and they were on hand discussing self-managed rental risks. So if you are a landlord, or if you're considering becoming a landlord and starting your own portfolio, it's about why solo landlords do need that expert help. As we are well on our way into 2026, owning and maintaining a rental home is increasingly demanding, sometimes unforgiving, and legally exposed, with self-managed rental risk greater than ever before. The margin for error or neglect has disappeared, and there's increasingly nowhere to hide. This has caused some landlords to sell up, reduce their portfolio. However, there is still landlords out there that are starting a portfolio, likewise expanding their portfolio. Success today really means monitoring legislative change, maintaining watertight records, and operating as if you are already being audited, so that you can defend your actions under scrutiny. Now, if that is, again, something that appeals to you, do go watch that show. If you have any questions or comments or your own case studies to share with them, please do put it in the comments, or if message privately if you prefer, and they will absolutely come back to you. And then a show that Perry and I did as the estate agents, we did Fife house price crash in 2026. That was a wee bit of a mouthful. And how in early 2023, property forecasters predicted a significant UK housing downturn over the next 2 years. Would it be the interest rates, Liz Truss's departure, all of that combined did get that scaremongering going, and obviously the headlines. However, we really delved into detail. We looked at the facts and figures, and that's why it'd be a great show to go back and watch, because you will be surprised with what we unveiled. There was a lot of insight in there. And as I say, Perry and I did that last week. So do go and watch that one. If you are considering selling, on the market, buying, or just have a keen interest in the Fife market, please do go and watch that one. But that is us for another weekly update. I will see you next Tuesday for another one, but obviously we'll see you throughout the week. But if there is anything at all in the meantime, do reach out to us. We're more than happy to speak with you, and we wish you all the best and a great week. Bye for now. Take care.